Hi, readers. Welcome to Goddess Garden Book Chat. As always, we are on another journey through the literary landscape that is my Kindle. There are so many books, so many books. Sometimes I look at the collection I've amassed, and again, I went back and bought a lot of books that I was missing because over time, when you buy hardbacks or paperbacks, you lose those books, but some stories stick with you. And I'm one of those kind of pack rack readers where if I love it, I want it in my library. And so I've got this amazing collection. But in that, and in my love of audiobooks, I've amassed so many great narrators. And I think I mentioned this before when we were talking about narrators. I will literally select a book because I of the performance I know I'm going to get from the person who's going to narrate that story for me. And I think this is a very fun and engaging and dynamic way for us to look at some of these talented narrators. So I came up with a three-question format where my chat squad members can ask me questions. They get three questions per narrator, and I answer those questions. Did I say that right? Let me clarify. There's going to be one person asking me three questions, and I'm going to answer them. And I've crafted all of this content, as you know. But I thought this was a way for a very dynamic exchange so that I could reflect back what I'm getting out of some of these reads, not just the books themselves. So we are on to our second narrator that I wanted to talk about. Suehyla El-Attar blew me away. I want to find more books that have this kind of range in what this talented narrator can do. So let's get into talking about what I enjoyed the most about this. And if you've not listened to, because this is referring to one specific book, A Master of Jinn by P.J. Clark. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but ooh, sorry, my bad. I I lived with this performance for months after I listened to the audiobook. It was crazy good. I'm so glad that I can get it from the library whenever I want, or I should say, after the hold is up, I can go back and enjoy the story more than once. If you have not listened to this amazing tale, please give it a listen. But let's move on and let's talk about the person that brought it to life for me in the audio performance, shall we?
Let's talk about Suehyla El-Attar, the mistress of magic and mystery, and her featured work for today's discussion, A Master of Jinn by P.J. Lee Clark. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us. My first question is about the excitement you've been raving about since you read the book. This novel required the narrator to bring a magical world to life because A Master of Jinn isn't just a book, it's an experience. The blend of Egyptian mythology, steampunk, and mystery requires a narrator who can handle vast world building while making characters feel real. How well did Suehyla El-Attar transport you into this rich, magical setting? Did she create the atmosphere, or did the book do that on its own?
I think being introduced to this particular author for the first time, and it was an audiobook, the pronunciation of the Arabic phrases carried such weight because it was such an authentic experience. The cultural references really did enhance that setting. I got to feel the power of her storytelling through the mastery of her diction. El-Attar delivers a masterful narration. She takes every character and identifies them so distinctly when you're listening to it. It really does allow you to enjoy each character as their individual roles in the story play out. It's a fully immersive listen. It's a very rich, well woven story that she's able to bring to life. And outside of the narration, if you read the book, I don't know that you would have such a powerful experience were you not from that region, if that dialect was not familiar to you. And her voice really does capture this mystique and the grandeur of Cairo. And then she infuses that steampunk magic and those elements, that deep mythology. It is really a great experience.
My next question is about balancing action and intrigue. This novel features daring detectives, secret societies, and ancient jinn, each requiring a different rhythm in narration. Some narrators lean too heavily into exposition, while others make even the quiet moments feel like an adventure. How well did she balance the action packed sequences versus the more methodical, investigative parts of the book? Did she keep the tension high?
I can say with all honesty, she expertly distinguishes between characters without a doubt. It resonated so strongly with me that I think the impact of her voice and the story was just amazing. She gives everyone a distinct tone and a distinct accent and a distinct cadence. Oh, the dialogue is dynamic and engaging. Her ability to shift between the protagonist, Fatma, and the other supporting characters highlight the book's cultural linguistic richness. So make no mistake, it's such a treat for the ears. There's a scene that stands out to me that I remember where I believe they're in a cafe and Fatma is talking to her partner, her lover, and some announcement comes into the room from this mystic. It is such a powerful moment within the book, just outstanding. So yeah, she does a great job at the distinction. One of the best I've ever heard, in all honesty. Let me put that out there.
My final question is about character versatility from a one woman cast. A strong narrator breathes life into every single character, making you forget it's the same voice behind them all. Did Suehyla El-Attar give each character a unique presence, or did some voices blur together without distinction? Which character's voice stood out the most, making them unforgettable?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, she has this distinct way of identifying through her voice which character you're dealing with. You know, sometimes have you ever listened to an audio and you almost get lost, so you need to sort of have them say their name or who's saying what to whom because it blends together? That is not this experience. There's a rhythm to her narration and it keeps the story engaging. And it's a real balancing act because you have this world building that's going on as well as this amazing dialogue. And the exposition is just seamless. I just want to applaud this. I think I'd love the performance probably as much as I enjoyed the book. Her pacing ensures that there are real tense moments, that urgent feel is there when it gets a little slower, but there's this conversation that you need to pay attention to and follow because the gin are an issue. And then there's this atmospheric scene building. Then you retain that immersive quality. So I've got to say, my overall experience with this narrator is her elevation ability makes it an unmissable audible experience. And if you're fans of fantasy, mystery, and alternative history, and this is really a true deep dive into all of those arenas, this is a great performance for you to enjoy, especially if you're an audio listener like me, because it makes the novel feel cinematic, turning the audiobook into an essential way to experience this world. Um, I'm going to wrap up with Soyala's um, narration skills and say that overall, she is probably in my top five narrators. If I ever, because I do re listen to quite a few books sometimes, and there are specific parts that I want to hear. And I'm so tempted to purchase this book just for that reason. Sometimes it can be a bit of a wait when you go to the library, but I got to say, this was a great narration. And thank you so much for being a part of this journey as I shared with you what it was like to enjoy this. I hope you have a favorite narrator that you listen to. And I hope in the comments you'll share with me a little bit about them and what books I might be on the lookout for, or maybe we share the same taste. You saw the list, there's more coming. Have a great listening experience, friends, and I'll see you back in Goddess Garden.